Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. This is your boy, the coach from the WWE. I would like to welcome you to the very first wrestling podcast in the world to take you on a weekly deep dive into classic matches along with legends of the squared circle. Enjoy the discussion. Enjoy the back and forth. There's so much to get into. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Payoff.
Welcome to an all-new episode of The Payoff. I'm Tom, that's Jeff. We're going way back in the time machine to 1989. Great American Bash. Man, lot to cover on this one. Looking forward to it. But first, Jeff, how the hell are you? And I think you have a little bit of an announcement about a new sponsor to The Payoff.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's post Money in the Bank, post Forbidden Door. Like it's kind of a slow time right now in wrestling. Not a lot happening. Celebrated the 4th and just kind of hanging out. And so yeah, just exciting stuff though for The Payoff. Of course, you got to figure one sign of just how well we're doing, and the content we bring to you and continue to bring to you, and how much we enjoy it. Like we have a new sponsor, and so want to point out, of course, as always, Manscaped not going anywhere. It's still 20% off, free shipping using the promo code Payoff. That True Classic tees as well too, 25% off there. That's Payoff 25. And then the new sponsor for all of this, we're talking about Caldera and Lab. What they put out there, it's again men's products. Like when we started this podcast, and I think that we would be giving out and kind of sponsoring all these men's products. No, absolutely not. But hey, that's just one of the nice side effects of this. So they got all kinds of really great stuff.
Jeff got involved in this podcast because he wanted to meet women.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All kinds of that kind of worked out for me. But hey, like now,
and a fraction of 1% of our listeners are women, so it didn't work out for him.
That's okay, but you know what? We're trying to help the other guys out there as well too. And so, but Caldera and Lab, all kinds of really cool products. Like I know, men's care, skin care, all that kinds of stuff. And so we're taking care of your balls, we're taking care of what you're wearing, but then also we got to take care of this other stuff as well too. So whether it's just their soap that you're looking for, and I know it almost feels kind of weird, like some of the stuff they have, like eye cream, and like for dudes it's like, what the hell, like I'm not going to use that. I guess one good sign that it is really good stuff is when I first opened the box that I got and I was kind of looking through it all, like I had to literally stop my wife from stealing it on night one. And so that kind of tells you, and she's like, this is better stuff than I have. And so I now have it hidden from her, which is a good sign. So if the ladies are looking to steal what you have, there's a lot of our stuff that they would never steal. This is one where they would take it. And so there's eye cream, there's body cleanser, there's all kinds of weird stuff. And you're like, dude, you guys, why are you guys selling this stuff? We would not put our name behind anything that we didn't like, that we didn't think was great. And so this is one of those products where we think it's great. So in their store, when you might log in, you see that 10%, 15% off pop-up that comes out. Don't use that. What you're using is our Payoff code, Payoff. 20% off, just like everybody else. And so, we got codes. So whether it's Payoff 25, we have it on our website, all of our social media. If you forget what those codes are, you can look at our link tree and all of our social media and click that, and it shows you what you're getting off, what the code is. And so for this one, it's Caldera, and it's calderalab.com, CALDERALAB.com, and use our code Payoff in your shopping cart when you're going to check out. It's 20% off. Like it's absolutely worth it. Some of their stuff, again, we've said this with Manscaped. You want to dip your toe in, they've got some stuff that's on the more inexpensive side. Pick some of that up, just see what's, use it. Absolutely. Like you and I were just talking off air before this, we're not getting any younger. And so let's start taking care of ourselves. And so we're all about that around here. So let's watch some wrestling, take care of ourselves. Hey, that's what we like to hear. So calderalab.com, Payoff, True Classic tees, Payoff 25, and of course our OG sponsor with all the great stuff, Manscaped, 20% off and free shipping, code Payoff.
Yeah, I'll talk more in future weeks about men's face care, and
we just started using it. Yeah,
you got to do it. You got to do it. So yep. We'll talk more about it in future weeks. but good, really good stuff. And I'll get more into it. But all right, let's get down to business, Jeff. You ready?
Absolutely. Let's do this, man.
Time for the build.
Oh, it's time for the build.
All right, so July 23rd, 1989, we're in Baltimore Arena, got 14,000 in the crowd. Let me run through this show for you here. Skyscrapers won a King of the Hill double ring battle royal. Okay.
Big Skyscraper fan around here. Yeah.
Brian Pillman is going to defeat Bill Irwin in a singles match. Those Skyscrapers are then in a tag team match against the Dynamic Dudes. So the Skyscrapers are Sid Vicious and Dan Spivey, and they're going to defeat the Dynamic Dudes of Shane Douglas and Johnny Ace. Jim Cornette is going to defeat Paulie Dangerously in a tuxedo match. Again, we've talked about it before, but like the run and influence of Paul Heyman in wrestling. I mean, I don't think people understand again, promoter, manager, advocate, like the amount of things that he's done behind the scenes, in front of the camera, and still going. God knows when it's going to end either. I mean, would it surprise you if he was still doing this in 5 or 10 years at a very high level? Probably. Right. Steiner Brothers are going to defeat the Varsity Club in a 4-minute Texas Tornado match. Man, just a lot happening on this show. Sting ends in a double pin against the Great Muta in an 8-minute match for the NWA World Television title. Then we get the match that we're going to cover. Then in your this show, Jesus. Then in the semi-main event after the match we're going to cover, we get the Road Warriors, Midnight Express, and Steve Williams defeating the Fabulous Freebirds and the Samoan SWAT team.
It's weird, yeah.
Just a wild show. And then we still have our main event, which is Ric Flair defeating Terry Funk to retain the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Man, just a crazy show. And actually, Jeff, kind of a well-regarded show, if you will. I'm looking here, our final 3 matches, really, 4.25 stars, 4 stars, 4.5 stars, a couple 3-star matches prior. So a very well-received show. But storyline standpoint, how did we get to the match that we're going to cover today?
Yeah, absolutely. And so this is one where, like you said, not the main event, but these guys kind of, I like to say, in each other's universes, like leading up to this one. So we're going back while this show taking place late July 1989. We're going back to May 1989. You actually it was Wrestle War, where Steamboat lost the NWA World Heavyweight Championship to Ric Flair. And so that's where you get that kind of main event with them. Luger actually lost the NWA United States Heavyweight Championship to Michael Hayes. So neither guys had the belt at that time, or coming out of that Wrestle War show. You then had a couple weeks later, Luger actually regaining the title at Hayes. It was just a live event, wasn't anything crazy, but winning the title at that one. Tight build on this one. So June 10th, we're looking at WCW, just the TV show. Luger actually said that he should be the one to get the World Heavyweight Championship shot over Ricky Steamboat or Terry Funk. And so that people were, they weren't as high on him, that, he should have been the one that was getting booked to win this. And so Luger then getting involved just 4 days later was Clash of Champions 7. You had Terry Funk getting disqualified during his match with Ricky Steamboat. And then Luger actually made the save and got Funk out of the ring, or to save Steamboat, but then attacked Steamboat himself, turning heel in the process. And so the heel build was kind of coming a little bit here after he lost the belt, and obviously cutting the heel promo. But we wouldn't have called it that at the time, but that's kind of what it was. And so doing that and then getting into that. And so now you've got Steamboat and Luger obviously being just kind of natural enemies at this point because of what he did. And so that that, and then he cut again another promo about 10 days later, we're June 24th at this point, saying that the only reason he did it was because he wanted to prove that he's better than Steamboat. He should get an opportunity for the title at this point. And so this match, while it's not for, like I said, the world heavyweight title, we're not there quite yet, but this match, it was announced that it would be, of course, Luger defending that U.S. title that he had won back from Michael Hayes against Steamboat at this show. Now, there was a weird, they might, as we put the audio on, or as you're kind of reading this, there was a weird, Steamboat actually wanted this match to be no DQ, but just like literally as Luger was walking out, said that he was not going to have a no DQ match because he's the champion. He can do what he wants. It's on his terms, and so he does not have to have a no DQ match if he don't want to. And so I wish, just seeing it. So actually it was literally, the JR and these guys are talking about like the booker being out at the ring. It's weird to hear them talking about that openly, but the booker being at the ring and decide. So there's a little bit, we'll catch a little bit of the tail end of the announcement potentially here, or they hear it where they announce that it is not a no DQ match and just standard rules on this one. So for the U.S. Championship. So tight little build here. Like I said, it's really 2 months of these guys, but it makes a ton of sense. Like, you got the guy that is considered lesser that wants to come up, and be at, the top of the card. And, what more do you really need than that? Tom?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one, man. I feel like just in general, there's a lot of stuff like this in this WCW era that just, again, it wasn't, on the big WrestleMania stage or the, Saturday night's main event. Like, I think a lot of this WCW stuff kind of flies under the radar a bit in this era. And I mean, these are really good workers, and, the storylines were good. They were doing a lot of good stuff. And, you hear Flair and Dusty and, even Cody now. I mean, you hear people talking about like this era. And I mean, I know you didn't watch it as a kid. I didn't watch it as a kid. So kind of watching a lot of this for the first time, which is
yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So we are at the 1 hour and 22 minute mark of Great American Bash 1998 season 3 on Peacock. Great American Bash 1989, 1 hour and 22 minutes. Jeff, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. It's time for the payoff.
Oh, it's time for the payoff.
An event here at the Great American Bash Glory Days.
Luger looks fantastic.
Well, you can't take away Luger's physical abilities. It's too bad that he's had such a change in philosophy. He refuses to sign autographs.
Luger's a great example of how, to be like all-time great, it's got to be the look, and it's got to be the in-ring, and it's got to be the ability to be really, really good in promos and with your character, and just having the passion to be, great at it. And it's I think Luger had some of that stuff checked off, but he didn't have it all. I mean, neither did Steamboat. Again, I mean, these are two Hall of Famers, don't get me wrong, but it's like, okay, neither was a megastar. Why? Well, in Luger's case, like, yeah, the promo character showmanship of wrestling, he just never really had. I mean, trust me, they tried with him. Look at what Vince tried in '94. He threw literally everything at the kitchen sink to try to make Luger a star, but he didn't really enjoy that. I mean, Hulk Hogan, did the hundreds of Make-A-Wishes, and he went on the Tonight Show, and I mean, he embraced being a star, and I don't think Luger was ever comfortable and successful in that spot. With a Steamboat, God, I mean, one of the best in-ring workers ever, looks like $1 million, but again, did he have the character and the promo skills to where, hey, he could talk people into buildings? No. And, so it's like these guys are both, again, legends, Hall of Famers, but neither one was kind of an all-timer, because I think in a lot of ways they were missing the same thing, which was, okay, if you give either of them a mic for 5 minutes, can they tell a really, really good story that's going to make you order the pay-per-view or go to the event? What do you think? Am I being too critical?
No, I don't think so. It's actually like I'm looking back now, actually, because there's a website that has all the old covers of PWI. In February 1989, Luger was on the cover, and then this month, July, Steamboat was on the cover. Other than that, it's usually Hogan, Macho, Miss Elizabeth. And so, yeah, Ooh, this is just an interesting era. I'm with you. We said it just before we started here, this really, you and I enjoy the the 90s of wrestling and stuff like this, but this really late 80s era, it's really interesting. I'm trying to have us cover more of this because the storylines aren't as in depth necessarily, but the title reigns were very long. You had guys that were always at the top of the card, whether they were getting over or not. Luger was always up there. Steamboat was always up there as well too. And so, yeah, I think it's just an interesting time. How wrestling ran was just different. How it was being booked, how it was being promoted. Like you said, what people were looking for. They weren't there wasn't luchador, there wasn't a thing. You had these guys that look like Luger, and that's how you got over, is these larger than life characters of being in the ring and doing what they're doing. Yeah. So these guys are just quick start, a little bit of outside action here. Luger is working Steamboat pretty good.
And the two ring setup is just really hard to watch. It's just kind of annoying. Maybe it's the way they're filming it too. You've got the two cameramen on the ring apron in between the two rings, which, again, it's funny. You knock the polished WWE way of filming, and I agree that at times it's too polished, right? But the flip side is they rarely ever make a production snafu, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a weird cameraman on there, or there's photographers at ringside that are distracting. It's actually the opposite. I mean, and I feel like they're really hitting their stride. I mean, just some of the visuals, the set in Puerto Rico is different. Obviously, they kill it with the WrestleMania sets, and now with the Rumble in baseball stadiums or wherever they're putting those. So it's because it got really stale for a while, right? And I think AEW is dealing with this now, where and I don't know why they don't do more unique stuff. I mean, again, I'm sure it's a cost thing and, just a resource thing, but I don't know. I mean, I tune in for 3 hours and I like seeing, we use the WCW examples of those old Bash at the Beaches. That stuff's really fun as a fan. The In Your Houses, as tacky and stupid as that was, it was cool, and they still bring it back occasionally, right? So
we pop for it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just a fan of anything that you can do that's different. The old Madison Square Garden set where they came out of the center as opposed to a side of the arena. That stuff's really, really fun for fans. And it's just something different. I mean, we're watching 3 hours of Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown, 4 hours of 5 hours of various AEW shows. Anything you can do to just mix it up a little bit is good. And I think sometimes the writers and powers that be inside of, the wrestling companies, sometimes it's just tough for them to put themselves in the shoes of the fans. And, any variety, any uniqueness in my mind is really well received.
It's interesting because so this was Steamboat doing a great job of selling on this one too. Luger had a couple clotheslines, and then Steamboat got up, kind of shadow punching, and then fell over backwards. Really good selling on his part. Yeah, it really, you notice it more now in this area, how much it's production takes you out of the action on TV. That you can see cameramen all the time. You can see just the little discrepancies that you don't necessarily want to see. And it's interesting because like WWE, if you see a cameraman, it cuts immediately. Like this guy's wearing jean shorts in the corner of the ring, like, filming them. Like specifically, like when WWE does, or anybody does war games, like they're in all black. They try and hide them. Like they do everything they can. Like those cameramen have been doing that for 10, 20 years. Like they've got, they've been in the business longer than some of these wrestlers. And so they know their positions, they know what they're supposed to be doing. And so, yeah, it doesn't take away from the match for me on this one, but like at the same time, like it is very jarring. Now it does have to be harder because they do have like the War Games matches next. Steamboat, nice little move there, diving or dodging a clothesline and Luger dumping to the outside. I do appreciate they got that little tiny shaky guardrail that's not really protecting anything right now. It's like the 2 bars, like roller coaster line. Like, it looks like the fans aren't even sitting behind a guardrail. That's how impressive it is. So, and they're about 5 feet back from it too. There's a whole big giant gap there, which I find kind of funny too, but it's gotta be like just shooting with the War Games. Like, you want that to kind of be the focal point. So like they're shooting this at weird. It just looks weird because of where they've got cameras and stuff like that. And so, and maybe we don't wear light blue jean shorts when you're the camera guy. So, Luger kind of tied up in the ropes now on the out, or kind of hung up on the ropes. Yep. And Steamboat, man, just crazy strength here.
Oh,
nice little match here.
So,
Tight little match.
Strong, so fast. I mean, these guys are both just world class.
Yeah, it really. Yeah. Steamboat just, kind of doing a little bit of high move here, or high risk moves, off the top ropes and kind of moving it really well.
Got it very well. Certainly does.
Luger up on the top rope now.
Slamming him off the top rope. The U.S. champion may get slammed into a little humbleness.
All right, let's see.
Big chop. Yep, good stuff. Yeah, I will definitely be making sure that we get a few more matches from this era because, like I said, it is very interesting to see. It was just a different time, but it is still very good. Yeah.
Steamboat. And now Steamboat wanting revenge on the top. Oh, big chop. This could be on. We could have a new champion right here. 1, 2, Luger finally. Oh, he kicked out.
Fans are into it.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, crowd definitely cheering a little bit. Where did we say we were? Is this a good city for this? Baltimore. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
I think they did this annually in Baltimore, if I'm not mistaken. Oh boy. Oh, that was almost dangerous. Dumps him into the other ring.
Almost on his head, yeah.
I know it's early, but I did see a rumor. I'm bringing this up because of War Games, but I heard that the goal for Survivor Series this year is faction warfare.
Oh, hey, I'm all right with that. Like we've said it for a long time. It needs to be changed up a little bit. There needs to be some stakes to it. Like brand supremacy is not anything that anybody cares about. You got Luger trying to bring a chair into the ring now. Yep. And the referee's been very involved in this one, trying to stop him now. Again, Luger's the heel in this one. And so faking like he's going to hit. Yep.
Oh,
that was interesting. A slingshot into the corner with Luger holding the chair. Don't know why he didn't hit Steamboat with it, but yeah.
Steamboat shoves a ref down. Oh, he's going to get disqualified. Steamboat is wearing Luger out with that steel chair. Referee Tommy Young out on the floor. Steamboat has been disqualified.
They're going nuts.
He's got that steel chair. He wants to mash Luger.
It's payback time.
Luger trying to cover up. To the solar plexus it goes. Steamboat sends him in. One more time. Luger out of the ring.
That old lady in the front row getting all Luger in her face.
Did you hear that?
And now I'm curious in the aftermath what happens after this because we get the 2-job finish.
Boy, he's going to hit the crowd there. He's got to be real careful. Steamboat's swinging the chair wild.
He tripped right over here.
All right, so the fans happy. I mean, obviously, DQ finishes here on the payoff, but the fans are happy. So what the hell?
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the aftermath.
Ho! It's time for the aftermath.
What'd you think?
That was a very good match up until the very end there with the chair. I actually think, like I said, it in the context of what happened, it actually makes sense. Like Steamboat getting
not your main event. You're not ending.
No.
Yeah.
But Steamboat, like I said, up until about 10 minutes or like 2 minutes, not even before this match started, like it was a no DQ match. And so Steamboat getting so upset to the point and worked to the point where he hit him with the chair, it makes sense. So, yeah, it really interesting here how this played out. So the aftermath on this one, though, it's interesting. There really wasn't. It's unfortunate because there really wasn't much of, or there wasn't a payoff to this one, and so it was actually really Steamboat's kind of last major match in WCW, who would end up leaving as a contract dispute, as always. He did some time in North American Wrestling Association, New Japan. He re-debuted in WWE, and so. This match, the Luger stuff just never really kind of paid off or anything like that. Had his long undefeated run as well too. So just unfortunate that we didn't get another match between these guys at this kind of point, because it would have been really interesting to see. Luger, though, on the flip side, it was Halloween Havoc. Luger beating Flying Brian Pillman on that one a couple times, actually. Clash of Champions 9 as well too, to retain the title both times, and beating Pillman on that. Then getting involved too with a Flair and Sting is Great Muta as well too, which we know led to that Iron Man tournament, which we've talked about before. And so, interesting, but just I wish there was a little bit more to this one. Now, PWI at the time wasn't really doing major rankings, but there was a torch write-up on this one. Steamboat bashed Luger with a chair, getting disqualified in his effort to pry the U.S. title from Luger. The match was beautiful, as expected. Both men excelled. Ricky, why bring the family back when you finally got rid of the stigma of that image, and to bring a dragon? What's the point? Luger's posing at the beginning was reminiscent of Hogan at WrestleMania 4. Hey, this match was still tremendous. Grade A. So we got an A grade on this one, Tom. What are you thinking? And Meltzer gave this one, what did we say here? This was a 4.25 star match out of him too. So what are you thinking?
Yeah, I didn't see it. Again, it was a good match, and I mean, they were kind of hot the whole time, but I don't know. Yeah, the thing is, that actually was a really hot match when you compare it to what WWF was doing in 1989. So yep. I think that's part of it, is like at the time, that was really good in-ring action and better in-ring action than virtually anything that the WWF was doing. You're talking like WrestleMania 5 era. So I just didn't see it, man. I'll give this a 6 because the match was fine. Not a great finish. And, I don't know. Didn't really do much for me. What about you?
Yeah, I'm at a 6.5, just because I feel like it was a high intensity match, so I'll give them that. But I think standing up to the test of time, I think both these guys have much better matches out there that we've watched, some of them on the show. And so, I just think that while it, like you said, the DQ finish was kind of funky, and then also we know like it's almost unfortunate that nothing came of this. Like this was, really the kind of like the end of their really good feud that they could have had. And so, you could have probably ran with this for a couple months if you wanted to. So, but that's just, the way wrestling goes. Sometimes people come and go. So, but overall, still pretty good.
Well, good. That was a fun episode. This probably won't surprise you, but I am very, very excited for next week's episode.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this one I've had on the calendar.
Yeah, one of kind of my favorite matches ever. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yep. So we got we're going. What do we got here? 1995 in your house, just like we were talking about earlier. We got to cover some in your house. So sounds good to me, man.
Cool. Well, this was a fun episode. Appreciate everyone listening, and we'll see you next week on an all new episode of The Payoff.